Alright guys, another week and we are back for some more Championship transfer rumours, plenty to go through today. And this is going to be a pretty big week on the channel as well, with the Championship kicking off next week. In a few days time I will be releasing my Championship predictions for the upcoming season, so make sure to go ahead and stay tuned for that. If you're not already, make sure to go ahead and subscribe, you won't want to miss any of the content coming out on the channel over these next few weeks and months. But without any further ado, let's get into the done deals. We saw Sunderland completing the purchase of Ian Pervado. We spoke about this one on last time's video, but it has since been confirmed. Really nice pickup by the Black Cats there. Plenty of Championship clubs were in for the former Leeds United man. Sheffield Wednesday, of course, wanting to get him back after a successful loan spell at Hillsborough last season. But Sunderland have won the race to sign him, and suddenly the Black Cats team starting to fall into place. They've been sort of slow and steady with their business so far, but a nice pickup there for Sunderland, I reckon. The experienced Victor Palsson has signed for Plymouth Argyle, and that's quite a few Icelandic internationals that we now have playing in the Championship, isn't it? He's a 33-year-old holding midfielder who has played under Rooney previously at DC United. Quite an interesting story regarding Paddy McNair as well, who has joined West Brom on a short-term loan deal. The experienced defender was obviously let go by Middlesbrough at the end of last season upon his contract expiring. He's since joined San Diego FC in the United States, but as that club won't get into competitive action until next year, he's joined West Brom on a loan deal until the end of December, which is quite interesting. Former Sheffield United striker Ollie McBurney has signed for Las Palmas in Spain. He had quite a few Championship clubs chasing his signature. In the end, he's chosen sunny Spain over England. Not a Championship done deal, but Mark Leonard has joined Birmingham City on a permanent basis from Brighton. The reason I bring this transfer up is because quite a few Championship clubs were seemingly sniffing around the Brighton midfielder, but Blues have won the race for his signature. It's a hell of a team they're putting together in League One right now, isn't it? We saw Portsmouth completing a deal for Jacob Farrell, who's an Australian fullback coming over from the A-League. And Sheffield United have finally got that deal over the line for Peterborough's Harrison Burrows. Really excited to see him in Chris Wilder's side next season. Plenty of Championship interest in the flying fullback, but from the off it always seemed like Sheffield United were the most interested in his services. They've since managed to get this deal over the line, and suddenly that Chris Wilder team's starting to take shape ahead of next season. But there are some of the done deals which have gone through in the Championship over these past few days. Now, without any further ado, let's jump into the transfer rumours. We've discussed Liam Miller on quite a few occasions during the transfer window so far, Hull City being the latest club link with the Canadian international, and honestly, I think this one would tick quite a few boxes, both for Miller's career and for what Hull are looking for right now. Now, do I think someone like Miller is on the same level as Jaden Philogene, who's obviously left the Tigers? I don't, but I do think he'd be a cracking signing for them. He got 10 goal contributions for Preston last season, and let's not forget that was in quite a rigid Preston side where he spent the majority of the campaign playing as a wing-back. He's definitely much better utilised as far up the pitch as possible. I think he would get that chance to be an out-and-out winger at Hull City. The sort of attacking style of football that they want to instill next season, I think he'd be a great fit into that. We've also seen the likes of Leeds United and Sheffield United being linked with Miller during this window so far. But with Hull looking for another option off that left flank, I think that one would tick a lot of boxes. We've also seen Hull reportedly submitting a £2.5 million bid for West Brom forward Brandon Thomas-Asante. Hull starting to release some of those funds that they received for the likes of Philogene and Greaves, it would seem. Now, this is an interesting one. Thomas-Asante coming off the back of a decent season, I suppose you could say, with West Brom. He scored 11 goals and got 2 assists last time around. Don't think the 25-year-old is per se a natural out-and-out goal scorer, but he definitely has a lot of energy. And for a side like Hull and how they're going to want to set up next season, I could see why they'd be interested in a player like Thomas-Asante. Worth taking into consideration, he is in the final year of his contract with West Brom, and as we've already seen from West Brom in this window so far, other players who have been linked with a move away, it does seem as if the club is willing to cash in on those stars who are in the final year of their contract. Whether or not they accept £2.5 million for Thomas-Asante, though, we'll have to wait and see. We've also got Leicester City's Casey McAteer, who's continued continuing to attract plenty of interest from the Championship, Hull City being the latest club linked. We've spoken previously about Cardiff's interest in potentially signing him on a season-long loan deal, but Hull are also willing to throw their hat in the ring for this one. It looks as if Blackburn Rovers forward Sam Gallagher is on his way to sign for Stoke City, a deal being agreed of around £1.5 million. Now, I'm really interested to see how this one goes. A little bit conflicted on it. Gallagher, I think, is a really useful player at Championship level. I think Blackburn are definitely a better team with him in the starting 11. I think he often does a lot of roles which sometimes go unnoticed. Obviously, it was Smodics who was really the star of that Blackburn side last season, but still, Gallagher's role can't be underestimated. What he's definitely not, though, is a prolific forward. He spent the last 5 seasons at Blackburn Rovers, and in that time has only scored 34 Championship goals, so an average of 6.8 goals per season. Having a consistent goal scorer was a bit of an issue for Stoke last season. Vidigal was their top scorer in the league with 6 goals. Do I think Gallagher will be the solution to that problem? I don't think so. But on the flip side of that, do I think he can be a useful player in a Steven Schumacher side? I do. Also worth flagging up as well, he always seems to have an absolute worldie of a game against Preston, so expecting him to score against us again next season. Speaking of Stoke and Blackburn, it's been well documented that Rovers are interested in Stoke midfielder Lewis Baker, who the Potters would be willing to let go at the right price. It's been quoted that Stoke are looking for around £2.5 million for the midfielder, and at this stage of the transfer window, I can't see Blackburn paying that much money. If Stoke were willing to lower that valuation, maybe that could get the wheels in motion here, but for the time being, I'm not sure I can see that. Speaking of Blackburn, they've also been linked with Birmingham's Sariki Dembele. It'll be interesting to see how much Blues are looking for Dembele right now. It was a bit of a hit and miss debut season at St Andrews. Started out quite promisingly, but then faded as the season went on. Still think there's a good player in there, especially for Championship level, and obviously Eustace will know him from his time at Birmingham previously. Reports that Preston North End are close to a deal for Eli Camara have been played down by reports in Belgium. A little bit disappointing, that update from a North End perspective, because having watched some of his clips and his attacking output from right wing back, I think he's exactly the sort of player we need to be targeting. As we are currently going into this new season, still having Brad Potts and Robbie Brady as our options as wing-backs on either side, doesn't look great. This has been a problem position, either right or left wing-back, for several windows now, and it's still not properly been addressed. If we can't get a deal over the line for Camara, I think we need to be moving on to other targets, and pretty swiftly, with the new Championship season only around the corner right now. Burnley Sanderberg have been linked with a move to Galatasaray, but it's thought that the Turkish giants will be looking at alternative targets in that area, which I'm sure will come as a big boost to Burnley and keeping hold of the star midfielder. We've seen it previously from his time at Sheffield United. He's got the ability to be an absolute joke at this level. Would be seriously impressive if Burnley can keep hold of him for this upcoming season. After missing out on Jaden Philogene, Ipswich Town are still in the market for a new out-and-out winger, and Burnley's Wilson Odobert has been the latest player linked with the move to Portman Road. You can definitely see why Ipswich would be interested. The 19-year-old French winger showed moments of quality in the Premier League last season, and Burnley will definitely want to keep him around. The good news for Burnley is that the French winger is under contract with the club until 2028, which very much puts the power in the club's hand when dictating his future. Oxford United are reportedly looking to do a deal for Malcolm Ebiowei to sign the Crystal Palace winger on loan for the season. I think a loan move probably makes sense for Ebiowei at this stage. He had a little bit of time that he spent in the Belgian Pro League last season out on loan, but didn't really get regular game time. Somewhere like Oxford for next season could potentially offer him that. And it looks as if Cardiff are close to agreeing a deal for Wilfred Kanga, with the Ivory Coast forward set to join Cardiff on a season-long loan deal. He spent last season out on loan in the Belgian Pro League and scored 12 goals. I think the 26-year-old forward could be another decent option for Bullock going into next season. Sheffield United are continuing to be heavily linked with a move for Plymouth goalkeeper Michael Cooper, who is now into the final year of his contract with Plymouth. It's thought that the Blades are yet to meet Plymouth's asking price for the in-demand goalkeeper, which has been quoted as little as £3 million. You'd imagine there'd have to be some pretty juicy add-ons included in that deal if a deal was to be struck around there. But with that being said, he is in the final year of his contract now, and Plymouth do risk losing him on a free transfer next summer. I have to admit, I do think he would be a really good option for Sheffield United. Luton Town's Tahith Chong reportedly has several Premier League clubs chasing his signature right now, but Luton will be looking for around £10 million if they're to part company with the creative midfielder. It feels as if almost half of the Championship is being linked with Leicester City's Tom Cannon right now. The forward obviously struggled for minutes with Leicester in the Championship last season. It's not expected that he'll play that prominent of a role in the Premier League for them next season either, so a loan move back to the Championship could very much be on the cards. As of recording, it seems that interest is strongest from the likes of Sheffield United, West Brom and Stoke City, although there are a host of other Championship clubs who would be interested in this sort of deal as well. Having watched Cannon quite a bit firsthand from his time at Preston, it was a shame that he didn't get much of a chance at Leicester last season, but if played to his strengths, can be a really effective forward at this level and definitely has potential to hit 20 goals over a full Championship campaign in my opinion. Very good at playing on the shoulder of the last defender and making those rapid runs in behind. Definitely one to keep your eye on. Manchester City's Alex Robinson obviously impressed while out on loan with Portsmouth last season, and Portsmouth still trying to sign him once again for the Championship this time around. Although there is a tug of war going on right now between Pompey and Cardiff, it would seem, who are both keen on landing the midfielder. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and any other transfer rumours that we missed off today, make sure to get them in the comments down below. Other than that though guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.